through contacts, I got myself in front of the team at Tommy Hilfiger. And in 2016, we made fashion history by creating the first ever mainstream adaptive clothing line that is still a thriving part of Tommy's portfolio.
It's behavior, bitches.
Hey guys, it's Leah. Welcome to today's episode of Behavior Bitches Podcast. Today, I'm not going to tell you I'm excited for the guest because that's all I ever say. I'm going to tell you I'm pumped for this guest, and I think you guys are going to be too. Very cool. But before we get into today's guest, let me talk about what I have been up to a little bit. My energy is going to slowly peak as this coffee kicks in and with our guest today because she has such good energy. I always bragged about Kobe, my son, for those of you guys who don't know, about his independence and how like he'll get up at like 5 a.m. or whatever, but like I don't even know it. He'll play by himself, he'll have his Hot Wheels, but he's been way too inclusive lately and like wanting me to be a part of it. And I'm so not into it. I'm so tired. We literally have been doing like Hot Wheels races since like literally 4:45. I'm having to like cancel orders he makes on Alexa. He like orders things through Alexa all the time. Like this one, I just got this magnetic like ball stem kit that was $130 that like arrived at my house that he orders through Alexa. And so I've been dealing with all these returns and all this stuff he's doing while I'm sleeping. So hopefully I wake up slowly here. And I got my Starbucks order today. They wrote on it, seize the day. So I'm about to seize. It's 11 o'clock and I'm just having a slow start, but I'm here for this. So our guest today, dun dun dun. Today we are joined by Mindy Scheier, a total force in the fashion world and the founder of Runway of Dreams. After spending 20 years in fashion, Mindy was inspired by her son, Oliver, I love that name, who has muscular dystrophy, to challenge an industry that wasn't designed for everyone. What started with adapting a pair of jeans turned into a full-on movement. She went on to partner with Tommy Hilfiger to create the first mainstream adaptive clothing line. She later founded Gamut Management, connecting brands with people with disabilities across fashion, lifestyle, and entertainment. Mindy is changing the way the world thinks about clothing, inclusion, and who fashion actually is for. And we're obsessed. Welcome to the show, Mindy.
So excited to be here.
I get all my best guests from my sister, so I am only, also, so it's funny. I get my best guests from my sister, but also my sister gets her best friends from me. If she reads a book,
That's a good trade-off.
no, so if she reads any book that she likes, like one of her, like, for example, the book Likeable Badass by Allison Forgale, she's like, I'm obsessed with this book. We have to get her on the podcast. Then she'll like talk to like my team here and be like, she'll email them directly, like, we must get this person on immediately. It's also like that she can meet these people and like who she think, and so then she's like, I'm going to lead that podcast with you. So like it's happened with a few people now that like are now her best friends. So like this podcast and any brand she's like working with, she loves this podcast in that regard. Like when she wants to come on, she comes on.
She's the best.
She's a cool girl. So before we get into anything, also, I just gave you guys the most brief bio ever. Like this is actually like the places that you've worked with and the connections and the different things are like, there's so many here, which I think actually we should put this longer one in the show notes because it's that impressive. She's done TED Talk. She's on the View. I mean, just everywhere. You're everywhere. You're a big deal. So I'll put that in the show notes and we'll talk a little bit more about it after. But before that, I always like to, what we call in behavior analysis, we call it pairing. So I like to pair with the guest, get to know you a little bit before we get into like real talk. And I also just get questions answered that I want to get answered. So we're going to start off. Is there a trend right now that gives you the ick?
First of all, I love this question so much, and I love ick.
I
It is
love
just
ick.
the best phrase of all. It just works for so many things.
It's so good.
It's so good. I'm going to say that this trend keeps coming in and out, and it's just never good. No matter how many times you bring it back, it's never good. And it's the high-waisted anything. It's just not a good look.
What are you
on
really?
high-waisted jeans, high-waisted shorts, high-waisted anything. It's just really not cute.
Really?
No, I like even a little more high waisted than that.
Well, no, not now you're just saying that to be nice.
Maybe.
What the hell? I know, and not to mention, these pants have also, like, greatly shrunk, so they're not only high, they're also short-ish,
Oh, cute.
but, like, if you wear it with confidence.
Yes, you
Wait,
wear it
what are
with
you talking
confidence.
about? You're telling me that you like, low-waisted jeans that, like, you'd
I
wear in,
don't
like,
like low
2000?
waisted. I like right on the head, like where it should be. On your waist, not higher, not lower, on your waist.
Wait, what's on your waist is here, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, because I'm just
That's
thinking
what I'm
I'm
saying.
thinking
Yours is not like I'm talking about like slightly under the breast.
oh,
Like high waisted. It's
Martha,
just
let me
never
see
good.
yours.
It cuts the torso. It just is a terrible look.
Is Martha okay? Martha, come.
Martha, let's see Martha. No, Martha's good. That's like right on the waist. Exactly.
Dude, I am dying to get my hands on Martha. She's, like, so hot, but, like, she comes in, like, she wears these big sweatshirts. I'm like, "Please let me." No, she had a breakup and the sweatshirts went away, thank God. But, like, I'm literally, like, I think she's, like, a model, and I'm like, "Listen, I'm no fashion." I won best dressed one year in high school,
Oh,
circa
that's impressive.
yeah, that was, like, 18 years ago, but I used to, like, make my like, get stuff from, like, Goodwill and, like, sew brooches and, like, do, like, crazy stuff. Okay, so that's the ick. What is
That's it.
I actually I cannot get into, like, all these sneakers that are like, my friend from Brazil is, like she basically, like, restyled me, like, about, like, a year and a half ago.
Hmm.
Like, the sneakers that are, like, all, like, the New Balance and the Nikes that are coming in that were, like, the original, like, pairs you'd wear in the 90s almost, but they're, like, exercise looking?
Yeah.
I know they're, like, so in with jeans and stuff, but I just, like I can't get into it. I just, like, feel like it's, like, the mom with the really high jeans, there you go, on the field trip with, like, the elementary school, like, t-shirt on and those
Yeah.
shoes, but that's, like, what it's meant to be, the look, right?
I do, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not into that look. I don't wear sneakers unless to work out. Like that's just not a part of my I don't fly in sneakers. I don't wear sneakers to even be on podcasts. I'm rocking these.
What
Like,
the hell? Whoa, y
yeah, yeah. Not it doesn't happen in my world.
wait, so you're
Sneakers for
always
me,
wearing heels?
always, always, unless I'm working out.
On, like,
Always. You
platforms
never
like that?
know who you're gonna meet. Like supermarket, airplanes, mall,
But, like, are you
whatever.
wearing, those ones look comfy, like, platform.
Yeah,
Are
they're
you, like, a
platform.
platform, or are you wearing, like
I'm now in my older age. The front at least has to have a platform. The toe area has to have a platform.
oh my gosh. So for some reason, when you took that foot out, you just, like, swung it out like that, it just, like for a second, I was like, "Oh my god," I just, like, got a throwback. I was like, "Oh my god, Betsy Johnson." Like, but it wasn't. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was, like, your
Wait,
hair. I just got, like,
I
such a
can't believe you said that. Now that you definitely have to post my TED talk because that's exactly who I said I wanted to be.
shut up. I swear that just shows that I didn't watch
Where?
it. That's embarrassing.
Where?
Watch it well, now I will go. Wait, okay, so, like, you wanna be Betsy Johnson? You know who, like, my inspiration is? Like, I love Lisa Frank. Like, Lisa Frank, and then they had the documentary come out, like,
Yeah.
I oh my god, you want it to be Betsy Johnson? I just
Oh
remember I have
yeah.
such a throwback of, like, my, like, teenage years of, like, going into the Betsy Johnson store and,
She was
like,
an icon.
only being able to get something that was, like, in the sales section and, like but, like, just feeling so cool being in there.
Yeah, because she was an icon.
Is she alive?
Is. Yeah, still is, still
Okay.
is.
Oh my god, okay, so that's cool that I said that. I love that. Okay, are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early, early, early bird. And I am literally in bed by 8:45 to 9 o'clock every night,
And asleep
if not before
asleep by what time?
9:15.
You don't use your phone?
I really try not to. I am a big believer in only having like certain windows that I can look at my phone during, obviously I'm on it for work purposes during the day, but not before
I know,
I
it's
go to
very
sleep.
hard to shut down.
It is very hard, and that's when I have my Bravo time. I don't wanna disrupt that.
Oh,
I
you're
need
a
to know what's
Bravo
happening within.
girly.
Oh, through and through.
Do you know what's so crazy? I, like, never watched anything on Bravo, and, like, when my sister was working at Bravo, like, in their marketing back in the day, everyone would be like, "Oh my god, your sister worked at Bravo? That's, like, the coolest thing ever," and I just, like, I never got into it. I'm more into, like, really fucked up, like, drugs and
Oh,
prison.
like Euphoria?
No, like like, I wanna know people's, like, weirdest lives and, like, watch documentaries on it, like that.
Yeah, we're opposite. I want Summer House. I want Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like, yeah.
Martha's giving the thumbs up on the back end.
Yeah, Martha and I really connected. She
Yeah,
gets
no,
me.
she's lovable, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a free day with 0 responsibilities. How are you spending it?
I am still throwback in that I love good old fashioned magazines, like an actual hold in your hand fashion magazine. So I am laying in bed with my magazine, cup of coffee or two or three for, I would say, until like 10. Like that's a lot of time for me to be laying. And then I'm going to go with my best friend and or my daughter, and we will go get foot massages, a
Yes.
head massage. I love any kind of massage. Give me any kind of
Okay, we have
massage.
things in common too. Like, literally, I with any free time I have, I will be in a massage.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
also the
And I
only
don't
time
care
I'm
what part
still.
of my body.
It's the only
Don't care what part of my body.
literally, and I don't care what the place is. Like, it's like, oh, like,
Nope,
I
not
like
a snob like that. Don't care.
literally, that's exactly. I'm like, in fact, I will go, like, to, like, a little, like, Chinese, like, hole in the wall or, like, whatever it is or, like, Thai, any of it, like, before I wanna go to, like, the Four Seasons because
Oh, me too. Me
first
too.
of all, they work it.
You get bang for your buck.
You
I mean,
bang
it's
for
like
your buck.
spilling.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
if I pay too much, I'm doing the calculation of how much it costs per minute, and I'm like, "She's not doing it strong enough, she's not," you know?
almost done. I spent all this money.
Yeah,
Wants to
like, I wa
back. I don't think I got my 60 minutes. I think it's really like 49.
1,000%. That's so
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Wait, I'm not done. And then I'm
Oh, the
going,
day's still going.
since I had to use every minute of the entire day if it's all mine.
I love it.
Because then I'm going to some amazing like vintage stores. Like that's my go-to jam that I will spend time and make sure that I find something really fab. It doesn't matter like small or big or whatnot.
Are you buying
And
it, like, for inspo or for you to wear or, like,
oh,
the
where,
fabric?
where, definitely where.
N Finding a
And
good thrift, I
what?
I love finding, like, a good find at, like, a
There's
vintage.
just
Nothing like
it's
it.
really psychological. Like it just makes you feel like you're helping the planet because you're by, not new. They're not putting it into, a pit somewhere and you don't look like everybody else. It's the best. And then I'll have sushi for dinner. And that's it. That's my day.
Are you in New
So
York?
good. I know.
You're in New York, I'm assuming?
Right outside. Yeah, Livingston, New Jersey.
Oh, I know Livingston.
Hmm.
Okay, this makes sense. I was like, I feel like your life has to live, like, in the New York area.
Yes, it must.
I like, some of my biggest highs are thinking so when I used to live in Austin, there was, like, the Goodwill, like, their, like, home, like, flagship, right? But they would
Mm.
bring it out in, like, tubs, and people would wait, and there was, like, these people who were, like, diehard thrifters and probably had, like, stores and whatever it is, and they'd weigh it by the pound, and
Oh,
literally,
yes.
like, one time I found this Chanel skirt, and I just felt like first of all, it wasn't cute at all, the
Who
skirt.
cares?
I didn't care, it wasn't cute at all,
Yeah.
and, like, as we call in behavior, it was like, it manipulated my MO, like, making it that much more valuable that I saw, like, all these, like, diehard people there who are, like, there every day and, like, knowing like, like, owning these, like, fashion stores. So, I found this skirt and, like, I didn't give a shit, like, what it looked like, what the size was, and I was like I just felt like I had, like, won.
One, like it's a natural high. It just is the most exciting moment. I love
1,000%.
it. I love it so much. And by the way, fun fact, my daughter went to University of Texas.
Oh, she did?
Mhm.
So did you go to that
In
Goodwill?
Austin.
Or are you too
What's
fancy? Are you too fancy for, like, a big Goodwill, or you like to go to, like, the where they already have all the stuff for you, like designers?
Oh, no, we go I don't that's another thing. I'm not fancy about my massage places, and I'm not fancy about I go to high end and I go to thrift.
That's my girl, I like that. Balance.
Yeah,
Balance, important. Love it. Okay, I have s are you a minimalist or maximalist?
maximalist.
Same. Oof.
Yeah.
I do envy some people who are, like, minimalist in certain things, like, the idea that's, like, my boyfriend could literally if he lives in Israel now, but, like, if he wanted to, like, move tomorrow, which, like, he does, but there's complications there, that's besides the point, um, he could be packed in, like, literally 10 minutes.
Not me. Mm-mm. No.
Like, just packing my meds alone, like like, there's, like every part of me is, like, maximalist, just, like, I love s like, I love stuff, I love color, I love, like, seeing little things that make me happy, I like touching that, like, it's
Me too.
crazy.
And that's why I'm also not an online shopper because I want the whole experience. I want to be there. I want to talk to the shop owners and touch and feel and try. Like shopping online to me is like a big fat bore. You miss out on so much of the fun.
It is true, it's like going in somewhere, like, for the full experience, like
Oh yeah.
well, you wanna know how I'd spend my day?
Yes, I
I'd come
do.
to New York and do that with you.
Yay! Oh my God, that'd be so much fun. In.
That sounds
We'll
like
go to all my favorite places.
that sounds like a dream for me, and that just sounds like the dream day. We could go get, like, dirty massage somewhere.
I know exactly where we're going. Yeah. And it's dirty. Yeah.
Dude, I love it.
I know. We're
And,
gonna
like,
go
New York, when you kinda, like, go
first to a
underground.
dirty hair scrub place. Have
Oh,
you done that yet?
yes.
Incredible,
Oh my god. I took a Xanax and
incredible,
went to one, it was a vibe.
amazing.
I loved it. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, the best. Anyone who wants to, like, touch me in any sort of way that, like, resembles a massage, I'm down.
me too.
Like, that's, like, how
Like
I
downer than down. Or anything spiritual, I'm into that too.
oh, you are?
Like, we can also find we can go get our cards read, our aura read. I have places for that too.
I'm so down, but I feel like you're the kind of person who, like, is so busy, so we'd have to, like, really plan this, like, in advance. We could bring my sister
I
too,
think
but
so
she has
too.
0 chill. My sister would, like,
Oh,
be like,
well, yeah, but we'll be in the mood.
why are we
She'll
sorting
be
through
in
these
the mood.
clothes? This is so why are we doing this? Like, I have shit to be doing." That's so my sister.
Wait, I do have to give you fair warning that food is not that important in a day like this.
Oh, me neither.
So we're
I'm on
gonna blow
Adderall. I'm
through
on
it.
Adderall, we're good.
Oh, super, super. So we can just wait to have dinner.
That's actually a
But
lot
if
of
we
people's
have
complaint about
plans,
me,
that's
like, when they come in for, like, working with me or something, they're like, "So, like, do we do any, like, meals here?" I'm like, "You're on your own, dude." Like, you think I'm, like, gonna, like I have time to organize your food?
no,
I got shit to do.
swallow the air. That's what I say.
Mhm.
Swallow your
Hot
spit, take a good deep breath.
hot girls swallow the air,
And
1000%.
yeah.
Love it. Alright, okay, so let's get into the show, even though I feel like I really could ask some I just actually, never mind. I do need to know what's your coffee order.
Oh, this is fun. Um,
Thank God
I
I
have
asked.
now become I make my own coffee, which by the way, I hate cooking. I'm not that into food, but I need to make my own coffee because I literally open my eyes and I'm excited for coffee. Like I'm one of those. So my coffee is a flavored, usually let's go with French vanilla because that's what it was this morning. A scoop of chocolate protein powder
Mm.
and collagen, and then I froth it. It is the most exquisitely delicious, delightful way to start your day, and I have two of them. It's incredible.
So you're getting so much protein in already in the morning.
Protein, collagen, the whole thing.
You
Like
just I literally just got stressed when you said collagen. I was like, "I totally forgot I'm supposed to I should be doing that." Like, I hear it every now and then, I'm like, "I should be doing this."
it's so easy. It's so easy. Throw it in your it doesn't even have a taste. It's so easy.
Okay.
Look at my
Martha?
nails. I haven't had nails like this since I was a teenager.
Oh my g okay. And for your skin, right? Like
Skin, nails, hair, the whole thing.
okay.
But I'm on the other side of you. I'm old now.
No, but, like, you gotta be doing these things now.
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
And you'll think of me when you put the scoop in.
Yeah, I'll actually have to ask you, like, what brands and stuff you use after the show.
I'll send it. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Alright, let's get into the content. Here we go. Can you tell any of the behavior bitches besties listening to this podcast a little bit about how you ended up doing what you're doing today? Like, give us a little bit of a backstory. I literally you're even just based on the bio I said was, like, nothing to even what I know. So, like, please tell us.
So I was that little girl that dreamed of being a fashion designer. Again, I didn't just dream being a fashion designer. I wanted to be Betsy Johnson. I wanted to be a global brand. And I stayed true to my path. I went to college and graduated with a fashion design degree. I studied in Italy. The second I graduated, I moved right to New York City, and I was on my way, or at least in my mind, I was on my way. I don't know if I would have become a global brand, but I would have tried.
You have the personality, I could see it.
Why, thank you. So I was, living the dream. I was married. I had my daughter at age 30, and then shortly after that had my son, who is my middle child, Oliver, and he was born with a very rare form of muscular dystrophy. It's called rigid spine. He is one of 70 cases in the world. So they know very little to nothing really about his form. They literally are learning from him as he grew up and still is. Um, so I always like to say that, there's no rule books for sure, on being a parent. You can read the chicken soup and all of that, but there
Throwback.
is literally no rule book on being the parent of a child with a disability. And I really didn't have anybody in my family or my husband's family that had disabilities. So we were learning as we go, trying to do the best that we could, and always very committed to keeping his life as typical, as normal as we could, treating him the same way as my daughter, as my younger son when he came to town. But when Oliver was 8 years old, he came home from school and said, "Mom, I'm really sick of wearing sweatpants every day." But he had to because he couldn't do buttons and zippers. He couldn't fit jeans over his leg braces. And in order for him to go to the bathroom on his own, he had to wear sweatpants. But he came home from school and said, I really, really want to wear jeans like everybody else gets to wear. And it was a true humongous kick in the stomach moment, not only as somebody that dedicated her career to the fashion industry, but also as a mom that I couldn't solve it. Number one, this was in 2013, and there were zero mainstream brands in what I didn't even know at the time was called the adaptive space. And I was sick over the fact that I needed my 8-year-old to remind me of how important clothing is to who you are as a person, how you show up to the world, your confidence, your self-esteem. I mean, it is the very thing that I go to bed every night thinking about what I'm going to wear the next day. It's so a part of my life. And I was debilitated, but quickly looked at him and said, "You bet you're wearing jeans to school tomorrow." "What? Of course, duh." And I was like, "You better go to sleep because it's going to be a really big day tomorrow." And he went to sleep. I literally sat at my kitchen table and cried my eyeballs out for at least the first hour, just about what a failure I was as a mom and all the things that we do to ourselves and torture ourselves. And then finally collected myself, grabbed a pair of jeans that he did own, but whenever he wore them, either my husband or I had to go and like button up his pants after he went to the bathroom, or he wouldn't wear his leg braces that day, which is never good for him. And I just started ripping them apart and just, took advantage of anything that I had in the house. It was already really late at that time. I used peel and stick Velcro. I used creative rubber band tricks that I learned from being pregnant and not wanting to, not wear the jeans that I loved, but I really couldn't fit into them anymore. So I did like this pregnancy rubber band trick that allowed you to take the pants
I
up and
actually know the
down.
trick, yeah.
You know the trick. Cut up the side seams so that they went around his leg braces rather than over, and sealed them up with the really fancy peel and stick Velcro. And it was at best an arts and crafts project. It was just the worst designs I'd ever done, but I needed to make something work for by the time that he woke up the next morning. And when he did, it was the first time he was ever able to independently dress himself in anything other than sweatpants. And the immediate transformation that came over him was really life changing, in that I could not believe this really shitty pair of what used to be known as jeans had an impact on him like they did. That he just went into school that day with such swagger, such confidence, feeling so good that he independently dressed himself and that he looked like the other kids. And that's what he wanted. And that experience truly changed the trajectory of my whole life, work from a professional perspective. That I had at the time co-owned my own business. And within the week, I told my partner that I needed to be done, that I was going to sell my half to her because I had a much bigger calling, much more important thing that I had to do in my life. And that was to change the fashion industry yet again. I mean, who did I think I was? I don't know. To be inclusive of the 1.3 billion people on our planet that identify with having a disability. And I started Runway of Dreams.
Hey, campers!
Yeah,
Hey, campers!
yeah,
Are you ready for summer camp?
yeah.
The Snapper Collective is here. It's coming May 30th till July 12th. You don't want to miss it. So go ahead, get your bug spray, get your highlighters, get your sunscreen. It's time to pass the fucking test. You know, that story, wow, it just it really hits me. It's incredible. I think of it from like two perspectives. First of all, I always remember I have a brother with a disability, and I remember from like being like his older sister perspective of like I had these dreams of how, and I'm sure my mom had similar dreams of like how my brother would like. I'd have this cute brother. He'd be dressed in like cute little Gap outfits, like that's what seemed cool back then. Whatever. I wasn't trying to give him, like, the swag that I try to give my son now, but, like, I had all these dreams and, like, my brother was, like, so sensory, like, didn't wanna wear anything that I was, like, not what I dreamed. First of all, he was naked majority of the time, he, like, hated clothes, but, like, going out and I remember being like, "This is not like the cute little brother I planned," like, as a kid. And
This is not what I thought.
no, like, I planned to have this cute little brother, whatever it is, and so, like, his wasn't actually necessarily, like, a physical disability. I mean, he does a lot of, like, physical, like difficulties, but, like, that the clothes would actually have to be different. It was more like that he wouldn't wear anything. But I'm
Mm.
saying, like so, like, there's one challenge on, like, the parent side, because like, you have one vision of something, and it's hard, like, early on, but then I think what happens is you're like, "Honestly, that's not a battle that I wanna fight." So, like, my mom, for example, was like, "Okay, I'm not trying to put him in these jean outfits. Like, he doesn't want them, like, let him be comfortable." So, my brother, like, has, like, a very specific dress code. It's, like, sweatpants, Crocs, or, like, Ugg boots that, like, literally are, like, the higher up Ugg boots, like, that we'd wear,
Mhm.
like, the ankle ones every single day, and you kinda, like, you know but he doesn't care about things like that. But when you talk
Yeah,
about, like, Oliver, who just like, when you're young, all you wanna do is fit in.
exactly.
Like, now
And
you're looking for
Hilfiger
clothes
too.
that no one has, right? Like, that's what you're looking
Exactly,
for. But when you're young, you just wanna fit in.
exactly.
And so
When he knew that he was different. He knew, he couldn't physically do the things that the other kids would do. So this was a way in. This was his, you know, shout out to me that, he just wants to have what everybody else gets to have. And this is the one area that he can, that he should, I should say. He did, like, when he said it to me, it wasn't like it was fact. I want to wear jeans and I don't understand why I can't. It was almost like preposterous to this little 8-year-old that why can't he wear jeans? Why don't he didn't understand why it wasn't available to him.
so you saw his personality, like, shift before and after?
100%. 1000%. In the fact of he just like blossomed. He just like his head was held high, his shoulders were back. He's like, "What up?" Like when he swaggered into school. He just
"What's up, bitches?"
total. Like he was like, "What is up, bitches?" Yeah.
Okay, I wanna know okay, so I have this obsession always, like, if I'm getting Kobe ready or, like, if Kobe is at his, like, dad's house and I get Kobe back or I see a picture of Kobe when he's not with me, I'm like, "Can you please put his hair to the side or something?" Like, when he has this, like, fringe down, I'm like, he's, like, objectively less cute and, like, looks dirty and, like, please clean the boogers off his nose, you know? Like, I, like,
Yeah.
take pride in first of all, I only have 1 kid, then I got divorced, but, like, I take, like and I always say, like, Kobe, I'm manifesting like, I might have the boyfriend that I, like, end up with now, but I was
Yay.
manifesting my future boyfriend. Like, how I dress Kobe is, like, what I wanna manifest for future, like, you know? But anyways, like, if I'd ever I'm like, "No, his hair has to be done to the side," and it's like, "Who cares? He's little." I'm like, "Dude, I know whether you think that everyone in this world is kind or not, people treat people differently. If it looks like someone who, like, is, like, dirty and, like, not put together, whether the kid has a disability or not. Like, I've been a classroom teacher. If you have a kid who, like, comes in and, like, it's and so many of the times, it's not the kid's choice that they, like, smell like smoke or that they come in with dirty clothes, right?
100%. It's whether we like it or not, first impressions or judgments, it's a natural occurrence. And look, if I had showed up to this podcast not wearing a fabulous fur coat, or wearing like a ripped, not cute t-shirt or whatnot, people might be like, "Really? She's the queen of she changed the fashion industry?" Huh. I doubt that. It's how you're judged. And more important than that, it's also how you feel about yourself in
1000%.
what you wear. And I talk about this also in my TED talk that there is an actual psychological phenomenon called enclosed cognition, that it is your body's natural response from a confidence level of how you feel in your clothes dictates how you are feeling. It's really amazing. And think about it. Like I give the example of during COVID when everybody was just like wearing pajamas all day long. I was spiraling into a depression from wearing pajamas all day or workout clothes or what. So I started dressing like I would if the world was how it was every day, whether clearly I wasn't seeing anybody. And I was back to myself within seconds.
I guess you just gave me the term for what I always so my main thing is teaching people studying for an exam to become behavior analysts.
Mm,
And I always tell them, like, when it comes to your day that you're gonna go sit and take this test, like, this test is difficult, it has a 52% pass rate, everyone's stressed about it. I'm like, "You better dress like you're going in to kill it." Because if you go in feelings follow behavior, you know? And you just gave me the term. What's the term called?
Enclosed cognition.
Enclosed cognition. I'm always like, engage in the behavior first, and the feelings will follow.
No question. And now it's fact.
Wow. Okay. So, can you tell me a little bit about Oliver and his diagnosis, like how it affects him, how old Oliver is now?
Oliver just turned 21 in December, which I'm floored and dead over the fact that he's like a adult. But his version, it's called rigid spine muscular dystrophy. It is a mutation of a it's a very rare, obviously, is one of 70 cases, mutation of a gene. But the fun little fact about it is that you can't have this version of muscular dystrophy unless you get the same mutation from the mother and the father. So the fact that my husband Greg and I not only found each other in on this planet, but had the same mutation of the same exact gene and passed it on to our son. In the words of the geneticist that we worked with, who at the time was probably in her late 70s, said that it is the rarest occurrence she's ever experienced in her whole career. And we were like, yay. I mean, how do you even necessarily respond to that? But what it actually means is that Greg and I are related. And I am one that has to always find humor in everything, no matter what. And I looked at my mom, we come from, both of us come from Jewish families.
Dude, we
And I said,
carry it all.
see,
Trust me. I like just got my genetic testing done again. I carry like everything.
yeah, I said, see, had I married a nice Irish Catholic and you didn't like pounded into my head to marry a Jewish boy, we wouldn't be in this predicament now, would we?
See?
Mm,
All of this to make our grandmothers happy.
exactly. Although I do love him.
Yeah, no, there's something to be said.
That's
But yeah, but no,
okay.
I mean, as Jews, we definitely carry everything.
We do. That they feel that this could be a, you know, Ashkenazi Jew type of disease in the future.
Yeah, the Ashkenazi Jew, we carry everything. Okay, so
We do.
next question. Okay, so when you said like this is a bigger problem, we need to find clothing that can fit other individuals. Where did you take this to make it bigger? Like you're like, okay, I started off with a pair of like scissors and like Velcro, but when you're like, okay, this is like a legit systematic problem. What was your next steps?
Well, I just couldn't believe that this was an Oliver only problem. So I needed to, before I could go to the industry with my prolific idea, I had to really know what I was talking about. And so I had to pressure test my hypothesis that it wasn't just Oliver. And this was, a systemic problem amongst the world of disability and clothing. So once I kind of sold my half of the company to my business partner, I sat down with my husband and I said, listen, I really need to take time to do research. I need to really understand what I'm about to pitch to the fashion industry. And I only know my world with Oliver. And even that world is only 8 years old. Yeah, I have to. There's 120 different strains of muscular dystrophy alone, just that one disease. So I need to like broaden out. First of all, educate myself on all different types of disabilities and see if I'm right in thinking that this isn't just an Oliver issue. So I took a whole year to do research. I did focus groups and surveys. I went to hospitals. I went to facilities. I spoke with families. I literally would chase down people on the street that clearly had a disability and would like interview them on the spot. And I thankfully had no shame and no fear of talking to anybody in anywhere at any time. And at the end of that year, I was able to really extrapolate out that not only was it a tremendous issue across the board, both physically and cognitively, but how much everybody that I spoke to about it were like, please, make this happen. This is so important. We've been waiting for this. Like, mother, to exactly what you said, like a mother, let's give an example of a child that maybe is nonverbal, in a wheelchair, is not able to really communicate in any way. That mom still cares about what their child looks like.
1,000%.
She does. And so it's, whether the extreme of having an Oliver that vocally cares about it, or a loved one that says, you know what, my just kid deserves to still look cute too. And and it's for somebody that is completely, you know, unable to help in the dressing process. Let's say they are paralyzed from the neck down. That's a very, very laborious job to dress another human that cannot help you. Really hard. So, rethinking the way that things go onto the body, like for example, things opening in the back and you go in arms first rather than struggling with the neck hole and the arms and the armhole, all of that. So I was able to figure out three categories that we could at least start with modifying mainstream clothing. And that was really important to my journey, that I could have done my own line. I, was trained to do that. I absolutely could have, had the Mindy Scheier collection. But that's not what Oliver wanted. He wanted to wear Levi's. He wanted to wear Old Navy. He wanted to wear brands that all the other kids were wearing.
Do you tell him, like,
So
Old
that
Navy's not that cool?
it was then.
It was so cool. Like,
It
4th
was
of
really
July
cool.
getting, like, the American flag every year.
Oh, no. Yeah, really cool. And so that's when I decided that I needed to start at the top. I needed to start with mainstream big brands, and create modifications that could be implemented into their collections. And that's what I did. So it was working on closures. So button snaps, zippers, hook and eyes were a universal problem across physical and cognitive disabilities. Again, finding alternate ways to get the clothing on and off the body and having the product be adjustable. So, being able to adjust sleeve lengths and pant lengths and waistbands for different shaped bodies was really, really important. So, taking even starting there with those categories and developing modifications, and actually creating them and testing them. I had a built-in focus group with Oliver Shire. Then I felt like I was ready to go to the industry. And fortunately, through contacts, I got myself in front of the team at Tommy Hilfiger. And in 2016, we made fashion history by co-creating the first ever mainstream adaptive clothing line that is still a thriving part of Tommy's portfolio now. And this was, we're 10 years ago was the first
Wow.
collection.
How did they, like, Tommy Hilfiger or any other mainstream brands, like, ultimately, they're running a business. So they're like, they wanna do, like, what's gonna hit hard, right? Like, what was their initial response to getting buy-in for this? Like, I imagine, maybe, if someone at Tommy Hilfiger, like, had the same struggle for their own child, they'd be like, "Hell yeah." Right? But what was their initial response to being like,
Well,
"We're
let me
gonna invest money in this"?
Yeah, let me back it up a little bit because I definitely don't want the behavior audience to think, "Oh, she's so lucky. She just woke up, had a meeting, and changed the fashion industry." I could have wallpapered this entire house with the amount of no's that I got, or "Good for you. You're such a kind soul to think about people with disabilities." But it's 2014, 15 at this time. And if no mainstream brands had entered this space yet, there must be a reason. So good luck. We'll be cheering on the sidelines. And, there's the door. So, where I think my stars aligned with Tommy Hilfiger is, first of all, Tommy the man does have 2 children with autism.
Okay.
So there's, that connection right there. But I met with the CEO and his team before I met with Tommy. And where everything kind of came to fruition was that this CEO at the time, his name is Gary Scheinbaum, he was the CEO at the time, literally not only saw the vision, but also saw that this was truly an untapped market. And I was prepared. I came in with boatloads of data on the size, the scope, the spending power of this population, as well as that I literally took that conference room. I went in early and I made it into a showroom and I displayed every piece of their collection that I modified. I showed the original piece and the modified version next to each other because you couldn't on first look they looked exactly the same, but then when you started like touching and feeling you realize, oh my god, there's a magnet behind there. Oh my god, there's an adjustable sleeve length. Oh wow, that's cool. That pant length is adjustable. But from the outside you couldn't really see the difference. So I was uber prepared and built the business case that it was, thankfully I hit the right person who had a humongous heart, saw the vision, and actually when I was, ready for his response, his first response was thank you. I cannot believe that no other brand has done this before and that we are going to be the first ones. He was absolutely gobsmacked that nobody else had done this and that they were going to be pioneers. He was the greatest person, still is, that I could have been in front of to pitch this idea to.
It's behavior, bitches.
Are you a BCBA now and you are sad because you hate your job? Are you thinking, I worked so effing hard and here I am, dreading Monday? Well, you're not the only one. We get that message all the time and we decided to do something about it. Welcome our newest baby, Pair ABA by Study Notes ABA. What is this? Well, we pair you with jobs that you actually don't hate. Imagine that. Imagine going to work on Monday and being excited about it. Imagine working somewhere where you're appreciated, you're paid well, they're doing ethical practice, and you love what you do. Well, that's not impossible because we have formed Pair ABA where we talk to clinics that we would actually want to work at. We're not going to send you anywhere. We are assessing these clinics to see, are they doing the good work? Are they not telling you one thing and then having you do another thing once you sign on? If you're concerned that you're not happy or you're feeling unsettled where you are, don't settle. Don't settle in relationships. Don't settle in work. Realize your value. Let us help you find a job where you are happy. All you need to do is head on over to pairaba.com. The response effort is low. Fill out the form so we can help you find job options near you. If you're a clinic and you think you're good enough for us to place at, also head over to pairaba.com. And we will see, are you good enough for our badass BCBAs who we protect? Go check it out, pairaba.com. Love you, mean it. So it started with Tommy Hilfiger.
Yes.
It didn't end with Tommy Hilfiger only.
No. Mm-mm. So
Do you own like a trademark or like based on the designs, like that other companies can buy it from you? How does that work?
Well, I love that question because it was a really difficult choice that I made. That advisors and mentors were like, "Are you crazy?" That I chose to not trademark it, and again, that was purposeful because my driving force was to create a world, through fashion that my son was going to grow up in. And the millions of other people were going to have clothing that works for them, that looks like everybody else, and that works for them. So I wanted to make it kind of open AI, when AI was open, in that I actually purposely did not trademark
Like,
it,
it would
which
create such a friction that it may even, like, make more of a difficulty for these brands who are already thinking, like, "Is this, like, good as, like, a business?" For us to try like, that would just create additional what we call a
yes,
behavior response effort along the way.
exactly, and I felt like when, because obviously I was in the fashion industry for enough time to know that everybody copies everybody else. When other brands, started looking and thinking about copying, fantastic. Great. That's, one way to get an industry changed, by creating this phenomenon that had a fairly low barrier to entry, because I didn't trademark it. Again, people are like, you could have made millions, blah, blah, blah. Sure, yes. In hindsight, that would have been awesome. I would have, it definitely would have helped with a lot of the medical bills and all of that. But it just wasn't my driving force. I wanted to get it out as quickly as I could to as many different brands as I could. And I also wanted, I was hoping that I would become like the expert in it. That's where I felt like that's where I was going to be, the one that they would go to, at least. If I didn't have the trademark, then hopefully, because of my personal and professional acumen for this,
They'll pay you to
that's
consult.
so yeah. So that's, thankfully, once we launched with Tommy, then the floodgates opened, and Target, Kohl's, JC Penney, Victoria's Secret, like, were flooding us. And
What were you
even
doing? I just wanna know, like, what I'm just trying to think, like, bra-wise. I mean, a bra is hard for, like I have, like, fingertip issues myself. I feel like I talk about it in every episode. I don't mean to, but it really is a part of my life. Like, I've, like, lost 3 fingertips. I don't get blood to them. Anything fine motor is very difficult for me.
mm.
So, like but I'm wondering, like, so what did you do to a bra to make it easier?
So
In the
this
front?
was yeah. And so when all of these companies started knocking our door down, and the entertainment company industry and all of that, it was very clear that another company needed to be born to be able to truly, because Runway of Dreams was a nonprofit. There's tremendous stipulations on what a nonprofit can do, and all of that.
Right.
And to be honest, I never wanted to be a nonprofit. I knew nothing about the nonprofit world, but it was really my only way in, because
Betsy
nobody.
Johnson turns nonprofit.
Yeah, exactly. But then I turned that right back around when I started my second company, a consulting company, Cabinet Management, which is 100% for profit. Um, and so,
You're a bad bitch.
so that's when Victoria's Secret said, "All right, we're ready, but we don't know anything about the population of women with disabilities."
Like, not only do they
So
not know anything about this population with women with disabilities, they don't know any about anyone with, like, 1 extra ounce of fat. So, like
exactly. But thankfully, this was at a time that it was kind of post their complete breakdown of, everything that happened with Wexler and
yeah.
all of that. So they were on it to be inclusive. And, that's when they started bringing plus size models in and all of that. So it was a good time for this conversation. So when we, first engaged, we had to really introduce them to this population, and we brought in women with all different types of disabilities to really teach their design teams, their production teams, their PR, marketing, all the different, buckets within their company, about who these women were before they could even think about developing something. They needed to learn who the
Like,
target
they didn't
market
even have an
was.
awareness, you're saying.
Did not have an award, which most brands did not. Honestly, they still, this is something still today that we're working on, is the misnomers of, it's a very small market. People with disabilities don't care about how they look. They're not spending their money on clothing. It's just not who they are. And everything that I just said, could not be more false. So we had to like first start with that foundation. And then they listened, learned, and developed with women with disabilities by their side. So what we co-created with them is a magnetic front bra that the straps don't adjust backwards. Like the whole concept of how a bra was designed. First of all, it was designed by a man, which I think is very interesting originally. Is
Of
so
course.
backward, it's like preposterous
No,
how we
it's
made the bra.
literally backward. It's literally,
It's
like,
literally
in the back,
backward.
the way
It's
they
in the
like, you
back.
can't
The
tighten your own.
straps adjust to the back. Who can reach that? And they're not comfortable. So we just readdressed everything. You know, everything is seamless. There's magnetic front closures that were tested by women with disabilities, all different types.
Like, it's
Um,
closed even if you do, like, a broad, like
it literally, and these magnets not only close on their own, but we had to be very careful that they couldn't be too hard to open because then
it takes
the
strength.
women couldn't open it. And, you know, it was that balance of actually being able to physically open them if they were too strong, with being strong enough that they didn't pop open during the day. And thankfully, we found them. We found these magnets. And I actually think Victoria's Secret patented them. So, you know, it really was. And this whole process took probably 2 years from when they hired us to when it was on the shelves at Victoria's Secret. We launched with them in 2022. So it's, and the coolest part about, one of the coolest parts about this whole journey is what, you know, our mainstream world does it is now, because I talk about it all the time. So hopefully they're starting to understand is that there are so many products that we all use today that were developed for people with disabilities, like texting. Texting was developed as an alternate way to communicate for those that couldn't communicate in a typical way. Now it's our most used form of communication. The wheels on a suitcase were developed so that people with disabilities could travel more easily. Who doesn't have wheels on their suitcases now? Electric toothbrushes, eyeglasses. These were medical devices. These weren't a fashion trend. This wasn't something that was cool to have, whether you had eyesight problems or not. And this is like the ultimate of, you know, we still have a lot of work to do to, you know, make this a mainstream notion. But where I hope to get to someday, hopefully during my lifetime, is that everybody's just wearing tops with magnets in it. And it is not just for people with disabilities, it's because it's just modern technology. We literally run our lives through this thing, but yet, do you know when the button and the buttonhole was first seen? Was first what, you know, historians say when
Wait,
they were
what'd you say,
developed?
the buttonhole?
The button and the buttonhole.
The button and the
Take a
buttonhole.
guess.
Like on an
When,
iPhone?
no, 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 like the actual button and buttonhole. When do you think that
Oh!
was developed?
I was, like, so into, like, the phone still. Oh, you mean, like, for clothing.
Yeah,
It's gotta be, like, 5 ever ago. I don't know. Like
the 13th century.
yeah.
So we are literally using technology from the 13th century when we can run our lives through something that's a 3x2 is preposterous. So when
No,
we're
I literally
talking,
in the winter months, I can't also, if you don't like these jeans, that's too bad because in the winter month, I can't wear a lot of my jeans that, like, is so hard because my fingertips won't work. Like, these are,
well,
like,
when we
loose
go
enough
on our shopping journey, I'm going to get you fabulous jeans.
that's the thing. And you know what? I guess places are taking on this, like, modern approach because I know, for example, when Kobe was a baby, you know, like, the Magnet Me brand?
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
started being like, I had, like I thought it was actually, like, an insult. It's one of the outfits that I know they didn't mean it. It was, like, a gift that he got, so cute. It had, like, 5,000 bra strap things. like, all the way down. I'm like, "Is this for real?" Like, there's no shot. Then I was like, "Whatever, I'll pay a little extra for the ones that have the magnet. With my fingertips, I
Yeah,
can't do this." Or a
yeah,
zip at a minimum.
that's right. So, and going back to my, favorite thing is data. People with disabilities are the largest minority on our planet by far. And the only minority that every single one of us could be a part of at any point in our life. No matter how much I want to be Jennifer Lopez, I am never going to be Hispanic. Ever, ever, ever. I'm never going to be a part of her minority, but she could most certainly be a part of the minority of people with disabilities.
It's true. I mean, as someone personally, I saw my life change over one day where I just, like,
Yeah.
lost my ability to, like, use like, it's
Whether that's just getting old and you
yeah,
have
I mean, 1,000
arthritis.
right. What you're doing is incredible. My sister actually was, like, talking all about you at our Shabbat dinner on Friday night, and
Huh.
she was talking about this she's like, "In the like, have you seen this one picture of" I don't know, is it she was telling me about it. Is it Oliver at the like, in front of the Mona Lisa?
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
She's
Yeah.
like, because everyone I wanna see if I'm saying it right. That she was like, "Everyone has to stand, like, whatever, like, however many, like, feet away, like, far away, like, not even, like, to, like, breathe near it." But because Oliver was in a wheelchair, he literally you see him, like, right up to it.
He was right up to it. So he actually uses, a scooter now, primarily.
Okay.
It's gotten challenging for him to walk long distances or even any distance. So we he is like a spectacular badass go-getter, and we figured out he wanted to study abroad. We figured it out, and he studied abroad. And when we went, he studied in Prague. And when we went to travel a bit together, and we went to Paris with my daughter and Oliver, and what I do this fun little thing on TikTok called the Oliver Chronicles, where I take everybody on like kind of the journey of my learning journey of life with a loved one with a disability. And I chronicled about the fact that in Europe they really view people with disabilities very differently than here. They are really revered and put on a, I mean, the Mona Lisa was the most perfect example that we moved through that Louvre like we were VIPs. Just like the sea of people, like parted ways for Oliver to scoot through and get to where we needed to be. But there is a rope, a red rope that everybody has to stand behind when looking at the Mona Lisa, except people with disabilities. Like at home in the United States, I would have to be like, excuse me, can you move out of the way? Because my son's sitting and he can't see. And they'd be like, 1 second. Here, they're like, you bet. You should have the best view out of everybody. And it's just it was such a magnificent example of the differences between how people with disabilities are treated in different
Which
countries.
is so interesting, like, as, like, progressive as we're meant to be here, like, we have so much learning
We do.
to do that my sister, like and my whole family was, like, just, like, melting hearing about it, and my mom also, like, the mom of, like, like, I mean, first of all, any mom, I could tell you that, like, but, like
Exactly. Any mom, just, I think I hope through this journey, my chronicles, the work, that I'm doing through the companies, just opens people's eyes and minds to all the things that myself included, we all take for granted. We just do. We open our eyes and get out of bed and get dressed and have breakfast and blah, blah, blah. Oliver, from the minute he opens his eyes, has to think about every moment of his day. How is he going to get out of bed? Which elbow is he going to lean on? When he gets out of bed, how's he going to push off? I mean, everything has to be thought about. it's gotta be so exhausting on top of just being a 21-year-old kid.
I mean, the chronicles you're doing, I think are, you know, a guest that I just had on, like, a podcast that I did a little bit ago was actually a mother who wrote this book. Her name's Jessica Slice, and she actually was, like, did a 7-mile run the day before. The next thing she's now, like, in a wheelchair, like, for life. She has 2 young kids, and she was saying how, like, she's thinking about, like, and on the outside, we don't think about these struggles. Like, she's like, "If it's a snow day and I live in Toronto, I don't know how long I will be in the house." Also, like, how are my kids gonna get picked up? How am I gonna get them
Right.
breakfast in the morning? How are they gonna get out? What if my 3-year-old walks out the door and then they slip and I can't get out of the house because 'cause I'm still in the wheelchair? I live on the 8th floor building. What happens if I'm on the 8th floor and there's like, the elevators are down? Like, she literally had to get her neighbors to get together, to get them for coffee together, to be like with her husband, "Here's the plan. I bought a body size, duffel bag that, like, if there's a fire or something, if you could please remember to come get me and my toddler in the back," like,
Yeah,
these
everything.
details that we're not thinking about, but
Exactly.
every now and then I do feel like I know this is a science podcast, but, like, as someone who's, like, a big believer. Just kidding, I'm not a believer in justice. I do like Bieber, but I'm just a big believer in general, like, like, every now and then something in life happens, so, like, I'll have a friend
Mm,
reach out to me and be like, "Liat, I just need to tell you, like, I cut my finger with a knife and, like, I can't use my hand, and I have so much more respect for you," like,
mhm.
or little things
Exactly.
that happen, or, like, sometimes, like, something might weird happen, you pull a muscle and you can no longer walk, and you're like, "Oh my god," like, you kinda have these, like, little, like, God wake ups of, like,
You have a
"Hey,"
God wake up, but then it's remembering it,
it's
and,
remembering it.
and because, like many other things, COVID, 9/11, things like that, we all go back to our normal ways, and you're not thinking about how lucky you are. Because guess what? This is all on borrowed time. My working 2 arms, 2 legs, fingers, easy everything, easy breezy is rented. It just is. So why aren't we thinking about something that ultimately is going to be something that we're all going to need at some point in our life?
1,000%. You have given such a gift to the world, like I mean, I remember when Target made their line, I was, like, so excited to see it, but now I'm gonna
Yeah.
be, like, even, like, more aware of so many things. I think of my brother at his bar mitzvah, he wore, like, literally, like, basketball shorts, his UGG boots, and, you know, actually, like, that was, like, the design of his, like, little things we gave out to people. It was, like, a kid like, it was, like we had, like, an artist, like, paint, like, basketball shorts, like, a tallis, like,
Oh
the
my
UGG
God, that's
boots.
really cute.
It was
That
cute.
is so
It was like
cute and
yeah,
so
it was like it's
clever.
just so gull, to all of us.
Yeah,
Alright, so just closing out, I wanna ask you one final question, just for anyone
yeah.
listening. A lot of people listening are I mean, not everyone is in the behavioral space, but a lot of individuals who are potentially but even if you're not, if you're someone who wants to do something to change things for the better, whatever it is, what advice would you give, whether they're parents, clinicians, or just someone who wants to make a difference?
I love this question because I have a couple. Number one, failure is just feedback. It just is. In that, if I, felt like all the millions of no's that I got was, y- my sign that this shouldn't be or whatnot, that I feel like I was wrong, then I wouldn't be here. So I took that as I had to step back and say, all right, all these no's is not a failure. It just means I
They're all
need to do
idiots. I'm kidding.
that too. And I hope that they're all like, oh, remember that redhead? Why didn't we do that? I hope though. That's in my dreams. It's just a sign that okay, we might need to think about a different path to just always know what your North Star was. My North Star was to change the fashion industry to be inclusive of people with disabilities. No matter what I did, how I did it, that was always where I was going to get to. So, guess what? That's when I got all these no's, was when I was a for profit, when Runway of Dreams was a for profit. And I sat back and I said, all right, everybody's saying the same thing. They don't want to take a financial risk on this. How can I alleviate that? by becoming a nonprofit. If I'm wrong, if this is all falls to shit, at least they are going to get a tax write-off and it feels better. So I did a crash course with one of my friends. I said, give me the 101 on how to be a nonprofit. What do I need to do? And by the way, I need to know this by Monday. So give me everything right now, put it into my head. But that is, had I viewed it all as failure, that I was wrong and blah, 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 again, I wouldn't be there. So don't take that as the end of the road. Always look for your North Star and how to get there. And it might not be the way that you thought. My second, and this is the one I love the most, is there are so many talkers in this world. Be a doer. Be the one that
Hell
actually
yeah.
does it.
Hell
Yeah.
yes. Mic drop.
Uh-huh.
Be a how many people give ideas and thoughts, and it's like, wow. That is the most solid feedback. What brilliant feedback. And I've also I'm gonna butcher it, but I did see some, like, quote recently, and it's like, "What if you knew that you had to get 100 no's before you got a yes? How quickly would you
Mhm.
run after those failures?"
Yeah.
So I'm saying
Oh,
it
I
wrong.
love that.
I'm saying it wrong, but if I can find the actual quote, I'll send it to you,
No,
but it
but
was that.
it's right because it's so true.
It's like, instead of
And
stopping
you
you, you'd be like, "Hell
in the
yeah, my
word
next no. Yes, 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 I'm closer."
exactly. And in the words of I think Kobe Bryant, you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
We should do, like, a freestyle of just quotes back and forth right now, but my
Yeah,
brain
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
your
yeah,
turn.
and then in the words of Helen Keller. No, I'm just kidding, I don't have anything on the spot. Always follow Don't always follow where the path may lead. No, I'm just kidding, I can't drop
Yeah,
anymore, but
right, yeah.
anyways, Mindy, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. I loved it. I loved being with you, and I can't wait for our day together.
Well, no, now that you dropped Paris in there, I'm like, I think I'd rather go to Paris with you.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good with the I mean, I found, like, every vintage store there was there.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Do you, like, have a lot of best girlfriends? I feel like people love you.
I will say it to you this way, that first of all, I feel incredibly lucky that, yes, I do. But I had 15 bridesmaids at my wedding, and 14 of them would be in my wedding today. And the 15th only wouldn't be because she moved like halfway across the world.
Okay, so nothing I was waiting for the drama, okay.
No, no, no drama, no drama. Logistics,
Logistics.
location.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Would be
Okay.
like hard to plan.
Yeah, you're just lovable. Like, I could see you being, like, the best friend, like, everyone you're just great. So, thank you.
As are you.
Can you tell everyone where they could find you?
So you can find me on all of the social channels at Mindy Scheier. I would love you, when I think you asked this, I'm not sure you did, but I'll volunteer it anyway. Is like, how can you, learn more? Or it's about having, I hope that the people listening to this after this say, I cannot believe what I just learned, and go tell somebody about what it must be like to not be able to button your shirt or find something in your closet that you act is appropriate to wear for wherever you're going because you cannot dress yourself, or all the millions of other things. So at Runway of Dreams, at Gamut Management, and certainly message me, Instagram me. I'm actually fairly good at Instagram. That's the one I'm the best at.
Me too.
So message
TikTok,
me.
fuck that. Ugh.
No, I do. I have my Chronicles. Go to
No,
the
but it's so
Chronicles. They're
I
really
find it hard.
fun.
No, I mean, I know it's like
Oh, no, I'm awful at TikTok. I don't understand. I really try to be cool, and I'm not
oh,
with
yeah,
that.
it's a lot. So I think, like, anyone who's listening to this, if you share this with one other person, even if you do, like, a repost of something, like, that you see, like, it creates that awareness that no one else has.
Yes,
So
it does. Yes, it does.
go do that. Thank you, Mindy. For
Thank
everyone,
you.
it was so fun. For everyone listening, you know where you could find us. You could find us on TikTok, even though I am annoyed doing anything related to TikTok. You can find us on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube at Behavior Bitches Podcast. Please go subscribe to YouTube. I have Julia down here working tirelessly on building the Behavior Bitches YouTube channel, which we made visual this past year. and she literally watches every follower who comes in. So if you think you're just like a number, you're not. Like, she reports it to us every single time we get more followers on YouTube. So go follow there, leave 5-star reviews everywhere. If you don't have a 5-star review, leave nothing at all. That's all we have for today, and as always, love ya, mean it.
It's behavior, bitches.
Hey, behavior bitches, besties. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time and stopping and watching all of our content on YouTube. We put a lot of effort into putting these podcasts into YouTube. That means I have to get dressed for the day, do my makeup, and actually show up when I used to come in looking completely homeless to record because no one could see my face. This being said, for us to keep doing this, we live for your subscription. So please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and like and leave us comments and love. Live for the love and keep tuning in, and you'll always know when our new episode drops. Love you, mean it.